5 more unexpected challenges of being a first-time boat owner. Yes, they just keep on coming. Excuse the voice, it looks like I've got a little bit of a flu down here in Australia. But anyway, the first unexpected challenge was understanding the weather. Now, what we did when we bought Boston, our Boston Whaler 255, was the first thing I did was I downloaded a whole lot of apps from some recommendations from mates of mine. I've got Windy, I've got Willy Weather, I've got Sea Breeze, and I've got Buoy Weather, or Buoy Weather, depending on where you live on the planet. And these give me a lot of information to be able to learn what to look for. And the main thing was a lot of my mates said that you're going to have to work out what is the, I suppose, maximum wind you're going to want to go out in? What is the maximum swell? What is the maximum chop? And all those type of items. And I was working out as I went what I wanted to go out in. And a lot of them said keep, I suppose, 10 knots or above, as in the wind. It may get a little bit difficult for a first-time boat owner. 10 knots and below, it's awesome. But the thing was yes, I had a look at the weather. But the thing was I couldn't extrapolate what it said on the weather forecast to the conditions until I tried them. So in other words, I deliberately went out in 2 to 3 knots with half a metre swell. I deliberately went out in 12 to 15 knots to see what the wind felt like, what driving the boat, and what it felt like in choppy conditions so I could get used to that. But to be honest, I just thought I'd look at the app, it'd say go, and out I'd go. The thing is everything keeps changing every day. It changes throughout the day, and that's something I didn't expect. I am now extrapolating what the forecast says and a visualization of what it's going to feel like on the boat, which has taken a lot longer than I thought it would. The second challenge I didn't expect has to do with the engines and the service of Boston. Now, my father was an actual motor mechanic, and he taught me as I grew up that if you look after your engines will look after yourself. Obviously, he was talking about cars, but I believe it's the same thing for boats. Because if you look after your engines, they'll look after you in an emergency and won't let you down. That's actually my biggest fear, the engine's not working. And the thing was I thought it'd be as easy as booking a motor mechanic, ring up, drive it in a particular day, drop it off, get it done, pick it up the next day. But that's not the case. All the marine mechanics are so busy that you have to pre-plan these things. And the thing was I also found out that I couldn't get Boston serviced in the sea pen. Now, the sea pen is great for us to be able to get out on the water, but they can't get to the engines and they can't get to the legs, so I had to get her onto dry dock. Just so you know, I don't own a trailer, so I couldn't get her onto a trailer to get her serviced. So what I'm now doing is I'm planning our actual service 12 months in advance, which just happens to be May of each year, which is the end of the season here in Perth. And it means then that Shane, my mechanic, Amy, my cleaners, and any of the actual builders I want to get done, because we do have a lot of things planned for Boston. I want to get the lights redone. I need the actual electronics redone. And the thing is, we can get it all done at the same time. We book the date in now. They actually have a schedule and it happens seamlessly. But the thing is we have to pre-plan that. And that's something I didn't expect. And the third unexpected challenge I had was fishing. Now, when I bought my boat, I actually thought that I knew a little bit about fishing. I knew enough to get by. But in hindsight, looking back now, I had no idea.
Oh, geez Louise, that was a great cast.
In the last 12 months, I've had to learn the type of reels for certain situations. I've had to learn type of rods, type of hooks, what type of hooks, how to place them, how to rig, type of sinkers, type of bait, locations, where to catch fish, type of fish. I've had to learn how to actually identify fish, because I need to then identify them and put them to the limit we're allowed to catch, because some fish you can only catch at certain times of years, and some fish there's a certain way you have to release them. And I had no idea about this whatsoever. I'm just really lucky I've got some mates around me who have helped teach us what to do. And what I've done is I've got to know some of the guys and girls down at the fishing tackle shop right here next to Fremantle. And they're an outstanding group of people. And the thing is I continually ask them questions. But the only suggestion I would have is be prepared to make a lot of mistakes. For example, I've just learnt how to attach braid line to leader line for the fishing rods, because I've had to set the fishing rods up for tomorrow's fishing trip, because Brianna, my daughter, is going to come out and hopefully catch her first fish.
Has his head ready, set, go. Go, hard. No, Brianna.
So be prepared for make mistakes. It's part of the fun. Be prepared to learn a lot. The fourth challenge I didn't expect was, you may have seen in a previous video, I underestimated the amount of fun and the amount of joy my family would get from owning actual boat. But the one thing I also underestimated is the importance of having them involved in driving the boat and the safety parts of the boat. My oldest boy Caleb and I came through this whole journey together. We did the skipper's ticket together, we passed it together, we've learnt together, and funny enough, he can drive the boat better than me now. But I also want to be able to teach my youngest boy Samuel, obviously not how to drive the boat yet, but all the safety parts. Yes, we've taught him about life jackets, what you have to do and what you have to wear, but I also want to teach him what to do in an emergency, especially when it comes down to the radio or perhaps making the boat safe. Because my biggest fear, as I said before, is something happening to the engines and we're stuck out there without an engine. But at least I know what to do. Anchor down, radio, and call for help. But what would be even worse is that if I'm out on the water with Samuel, my 7-year-old, and something happens to me, I don't know, I faint or pass out, whatever it is, and he's stuck on the boat by himself, he needs to know what to do. Because the thing is that I want to have a lot of fun on this boat, but I also want to make sure that everyone's safe. And I have to admit, I underestimated that. Because I thought if I learnt, well, that's good enough. No, it's not. Everyone needs to know what to do, just in case. The engines sound pretty good after their service, which makes me happy. But leads me on to the final unexpected challenge. The thing is that when the family and I have taken up different types of hobbies, we've normally decided and they've just gone ahead and done it. Normally nothing gets in the way. Yes, you have to plan the time, but boating and fishing is totally different. The thing is that some days you may decide you want to go on the boat, but you can't because the weather or something else has just fallen apart. And what we've had to do is we've had to adopt a do-it-now mentality. In other words, look at the weather, check what it's going to be, and then make a decision on the spot. But there's a lot of moving parts that are out of your control, and that's also why we decided to put Boston into a sea pen. See, the thing is that I'm not very good at backing back trailers, and I wanted to avoid all the, the hook up, get down, get into, actually launch the boat, park the boat, and all that stuff behind the scenes. Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to set up a situation where I could get on the boat and get out on the water in 10 minutes. The thing is, we live pretty close to Fremantle, so we would drive down here, we'd walk up to Boston, I would press the button for the sea pen would lower in 5 minutes. It's actually in a previous video we did. I'll leave the link in the actual description so you can see it, but it goes down in 5 minutes. I start the engines, I warm the engines up for 5 to 10 minutes, and we're out on the water straight away. And I wanted to set it up that way so we can make a decision quickly. Because my life and my family's life is very busy. Associate a busy life with varying weather, you have to try and line them up, and that takes a lot of work. As I said, we use our weather apps. We usually look at least 7 days in advance, and some days you wake up one morning and go, it's a great day for the boat, and go straight down. And that's something I didn't expect. I thought it'd be like a normal hobby where you would set a day in your planner, boat day, but it doesn't work that way. Now, obviously the journey as a first-time boat owner isn't over yet. We have a long journey to go, and if you want to follow along, please do hit that subscribe button. It truly does help us out. And if you have any comments, any things that you've learned along the way, please leave it in the comment section, including the people who have been a boatie for a long time. Any suggestions, any learnings is always welcome, because obviously we still know we have a lot to learn. As always, stay safe. We'll see you in the next video.